Awesome. So welcome, guys. This is Chelsea Pearson. So I hope that you know her. I hope that you're familiar with her story. She's going to share a little bit of that if she doesn't mind. She's had a 50-pound weight loss. Not sure where it came from because she's so teeny tiny anyway. Yes, Serena, to know her is to love her guts. She's amazing. She's a superstar diamond, 15 diamonds, works the business with her amazing husband, Rob. Lots of fur babies, right? And 4 tiny leads. So welcome, Chelsea. Thank you so much for being here. And if you would just start by telling us a little bit about your story.
Yeah, I'd love to. So this is cool because I know that there are going to be people watching the recording, but I do know Mary very well, and I know Serena and Mackenzie and Caroline. I'm not sure if we've met before, but you guys look so familiar, and that's probably because we are all little thumbnails on social media. And it's also really nice to meet you, Kyle. So I started my Beachbody journey actually in 2006 or 2005. I was a sophomore or a junior in high school. And I remember seeing an infomercial for this blonde, energetic, bubbly, happy, positive woman who I now know is Chalene Johnson. And I begged my parents to buy me this $130 workout DVD set, which was just unheard of back then. But I was in a season of my life where I needed that energy. I needed that transformation. I had gained 50 pounds in about a 2-year period, going through depression, anxiety, a bad breakup, figuring out what I was going to do in college. I needed that light. And so that's what introduced me to Beachbody. And what I actually did was I searched, at the time, all of my social media accounts were deactivated and Instagram was not a thing. So I had a Twitter where I would basically read snarky tweets and comics, and it was kind of just my private place to still be connected to the world. But I searched for Chalene and I searched for the hashtag TurboJam. And I thought to myself, well, if we're the product of the people that we surround ourselves with, because I was the product of the people I was surrounding myself with, and I was seeing my life go down this trajectory that I did not want and I did not see for myself. I thought, if I don't have those people in my life, why don't I put them on my newsfeed? And so I started to follow Chalene, and then I just clicked on who she followed, and I followed every single person that she followed, because if she's being influenced by her newsfeed, then I want that same influence. And it just so happened that I found a girl from Rhode Island where I did a year of school before dropping out. And I thought, well, that's the connection I need. She had blonde hair and was working out every day. So my first question to her was, how do you wash and blow dry your hair every single day while sweating every single day without damage? That was my in. And so I think about that now when I'm talking to people on social media, whether they're asking to join the challenge group or they're asking about what I do or they're asking about how often I wash my hair. I know that one question can totally change someone's life. And so I don't always operate from that place, but when I'm at my best and when I'm making the biggest difference, I am. So I became a coach. I was actually working a corporate career for Avon Products in the IT department. It was an internship that I had started. And if you guys don't know, Avon it's not network marketing, but it is direct sales. And since I was about 16, my mom had worked for the company all her life. And she was like, you should just sell lipstick on the side, or you should, try this thing out. And I just like sales. I don't think any of us feel like we are like made for sales unless we have that natural, magnetic, charismatic personality. And even then, there's still that ickiness about it because we don't truly understand what selling really means. And so what ended up happening was I was working that career. I was losing weight at home because I was too afraid to go to the gym in my small town. And day by day, I was getting results and people were noticing and I was changing. And I didn't get the business, but I did have an Instagram account. And it was back when you hashtagged fitness and you saw like 100 other posts of people working out. Totally different than it is now. And I just thought to myself, well, the more that I transform, the more that I show other people they can do this too. And I wasn't planning on this being a business. I actually signed up and paid $15.95 just to be closer to my coach, just to be connected. I didn't buy Shakeology. I didn't get what this was. I even had this kind of aha moment where I was like, this is a pyramid scheme. I opened up my coach office and I'm like, volume, numbers, like where's the motivation? Where I mean, and it looked really different back then. But I kind of felt like I had been duped. Like, no, I want to coach. I want to change people's lives. Like, I want to pay forward the thing that that someone paid to me. And I kept paying that $15.95, being really skeptical, and then realizing I was working for a Fortune 200 company with the exact same business model. And it wasn't until I was an intern at the time, and I was talking to my manager and I was talking to human resources, and they said, you are more than an intern. You are working your butt off. We would love to hire you. We don't have a head count. And the current HR policy states that you can make $15 an hour if you don't have an undergraduate degree. So I had to decide, am I going to go back to school and leave this passion that I have? I already had crippling student loan debt from a degree I didn't have. And it was kind of that moment where I said, well, if they can do it, I can do it. And I'm going to figure this out, and I'm going to do this my way. And even if this is like all the worst things that I think it is, I don't have to do it that way. And then the more I leaned in and the more I learned and the more that I immersed myself into this culture and showed up at events and watched and observed and failed, all of my perceptions, all of the things I was skeptical about, they vanished. And so now it's been since August of 2011 since I signed up. And I can't see myself doing anything else. So that's kind of like my origin story. And now we have a team of over 16,000 coaches. And that is definitely not a me thing. I sponsor about 200, and I've had a lot of cancellations in my lifetime, in my coach career. So there's been a lot of attrition, like all of us, but that's how I got here. And I would love to answer any questions or keep on going.
Oh my gosh, this is so amazing. So we're so blessed to have you. So with the hot seat calls, you guys know you're more than welcome to ask Chelsea questions. So anything business related, team related, please ask her questions. She's here. This is an amazing opportunity to talk to a top coach, superstar that, you know, what do you do with onboarding? So does anybody have any questions? You're more than welcome to take yourself off mute, be respectful to others. You can chat it on this side. We'll look at those. So does anyone have a question to start off? No?
I'll ask a question.
Thanks, Mary.
Hi, Chelsea. Thanks so much for being on. So I'm curious, how did you, I mean, obviously you've been super successful, and I follow a lot of the leaders on your team. How did you get them to like really take ownership of their team and lead the way that you lead your team? Does that make sense? Like kind of get out from under your wing and become a leader themselves.
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's really funny having Serena on because she knows the underbelly of of my team and my business. And one thing that I'll always be honest about is that it's always a work in progress. And that's an answer that I don't have figured out. The way that we led our team early on was all organization focused. We were really focused on volume. We were really focused on income growth. And we were really focused on creating a community where everyone had access to everything. I have an amazing sponsor, but her team page was not active, and I was not involved in her uplines team page. And because of that setback, I never wanted anyone on my team to feel like they were not a part of our community. And Serena's an example. She's somebody that was actually like 3 levels below me. And eventually her upline left the business, but there was no gap in relationship or connection. She was always a part of our team. She always had our resources. Once that personal sponsorship adjustment had been made, it became a little bit closer. So I guess to answer your question, first I want to equip you with some resources. John Maxwell was the keynote speaker at Summit, the very first summit that I attended, and it changed my life. I'm sure you've heard of him before, but when it comes to leadership and it comes to figuring out how to equip, how to empower, how to go alongside someone without dragging them or stunting them or forcing them, and sacrificing your own personal business in the process, or carrying them and then they get the recognition and you're empty and at Success Club too. He's taught me a lot about that. I guess I can go back to, it's like an 8-year answer, because as we all know, our processes are always evolving. What we tried to do was, anytime we were creating a resource for our team, it was not to manage them. It was something that we needed for our day-to-day business. So I wasn't just creating content. I wasn't just doing administrative stuff. I was creating something out of a need, and then I was passing it on to everybody. And if they chose to use that, then that was great. And if they didn't, that was okay. That leads me to kind of a second point where it was really beneficial in the growth of our organization that we had different spaces for different levels of desire. So when our team was in the dozens all the way up to about 2,000 or 3,000, we had a almost like a coach challenge group page where you had to be a coach to be in there, but it was personal development, it was transformations, it was non-business questions, so that I was able to allow my coaches to get their feet wet and see how groups are run, and lead with me and add their people there. And then if they started to have people interested in the business, they could kind of graduate to the business page. And now what we have is everybody's responsible for their own challenge groups, but we have a coach family page, which is for everybody in our downline. And that's National Wake Up Call, personal growth takeaways. We do a morning Zoom where we work out together, we power hour together. I'm not always on that Zoom, but I gotta get better at that. And then now, because of the need and the growth in our organization, we now have an emerald page, a diamond page, a 2-star page, a 5-star page. And I really struggled early on with, it's not a struggle. I led my leaders. I was at 4-star diamond with 60 diamonds in my downline. I was capping in terms of volume and income, but my rank didn't reflect that. And that's a really great problem, but it also is really hard when there's so much focus on your specific personal business growth, and then also pushing people out of the nest and saying, you do this. So I think for me, what changed was I started speaking to my coaches as if I believed they could lead. And I set the expectations like, I'm going to run my group this way. You're in my challenge group, and my coaches have unlimited access to my challenge group, unlimited access to my coach group. Every single resource that I share in there, you can share with your team. And it was really that switch. I couldn't carry any more people on my back. And maybe if you have income goals, and maybe if you need to force that momentum, you might need to lead your leaders. You might need to lead your leaders. And that's going to build that depth and that income that you need to get over that hump. But then there will come a point where your personal business will get stunted and things have to change. And it's not always easy to make those changes with our coaches. John Maxwell taught me this. I owe so much to him. Anytime that you are communicating a change to your team, you want to tell them what you are changing, why you are changing it, and how it's going to benefit them. And you don't have to call it a change. And I'll just repeat that one more time. What you are changing, why you are changing it, and how it will benefit them. And it's always an upgrade, or it's a transition, or it's exciting new news. It's not, I'm putting up boundaries, I'm not doing your work for you anymore. But once I made that switch, I really got to see who was willing to lead. And anytime they would get stuck, I don't know what to say to my coach. I don't know how to encourage them. I don't know the answer to this question. I always reassured them, okay, I'm here for you. That's when you post that question in my team page. And then my response, you pass back down. And I always try to use resources, third-party resources, so that they don't think that it's me on voice memo that is the secret to success. It is that YouTube video or that podcast or that other coach who explained it really awesome, so that they now feel the confidence that they can share a link or they can pass on that resource. I know that's a long-winded answer.
Oh, that was great. And I love even what you said with just like sharing third-party resources, because I think it's easy for them to think like, you know, I'm never going to be able to be like my coach or whatever. So to share other resources of other amazing coaches, it's like, okay, like, you know, she figured it out. Because I'm like you, like I have an amazing upline, but she's not very active in the business. So I learned everything by like YouTube. So I'm trying to figure out, I've created all these resources for my team. So I'm trying to figure out how to like get them out from under my wing to go do what I did, you know? So that's really helpful.
I'm so glad. And if I can make a suggestion. So I remember, I don't know if you guys know, but it's so funny. There's so many generations of coaches. And I remember, you know, being at events and people saying, you don't know this person? And I'm like, no, should I? And they're like, they invented the challenge group, or like that. There's just so many different generations, but there is this amazing, amazing leader named Brandy Botts. And she has all these elite coaches in her organization. And I remember, you know, it's always that one little thing that you hear on a call or at an event or in a training that changes everything if you let it. And she shared this story about how on her journey towards superstar, I was not a superstar diamond coach yet, her entire training system was videos of other coaches explaining all the different facets of this business. And I don't want to speak for her, but I believe it was something along the lines of she was just too shy and the work was already done. So she built a superstar diamond team using the trainings from Lindsay Matway, Janelle Summers, you know, Miguel Carrasco, Christine Dwyer. Like she used that. And then there was this kind of this kick in the pants for me where I kept seeing these superstars or seeing these top recruiters say, oh my gosh, girl, my team loves your Instagram training. My team uses your recruiting or your closing video and they are crushing it. And it kind of just like pissed me off. I was like, wait, I'm spending all this time creating all this content. I need to be using it. And I don't have to be the one that says it. And I don't have to be the face in front of it. Why am I not using this video and this video? And way back in 2011 and 12, the issue was not training. The issue was access to training. The way that organizations used to run was if you joined Shred Nation, you got Shred Nation's training. If you joined the Bombshell Dynasty, you got the Bombshell Dynasty's trainings. They weren't so freely, generously given and available. Now we lead with community. And when we're recruiting, it's about who you get to work alongside, because we get to, I could pick Melanie Mitro as my mentor today. and I could go on YouTube and I could learn every single thing that she teaches her coaches. So I think that's a huge shift, is the more that you show your coaches, like, it's not me. Because think about it. With our challengers, we're not like, okay, Insanity is amazing. You and I are going to get on Zoom and I'm going to cue Max Plyo for you. All right. No, I give them Sean because Sean is going to deliver it. And so I can do it alongside them. And then they know they can pass Sean on to their coaches. And it's those little shifts. And sometimes there is some lag time where you have to retrain your team to like break those nasty habits of feeling like they have to be on video, but they don't. And that was a huge game changer for me last year.
Amazing. Thank you so much. That's incredible. And I love that it's that element of like, if mom tells me to do it, it's not a good idea. But when you hear it from someone else, it really does change. Because I do a ton of team calls and they're like, hey, you just did the same thing I said, but it is different for sure. Okay. What other questions, you guys? This is amazing.
I'd love to jump in. Hey, Miss Chelsea, how are you?
Is this Mary?
It's Mary. I know, it's Mary's voice. She's here somewhere.
You look wonderful.
Hey,
Hi.
Hi. Congratulations on 15 stars. Amazing. I'm so happy for you guys. I wondered when you mentioned, and I wrote it down that way back at the beginning, you just followed Chalene's followers. And I love that. I mean, obviously those are your people, and it made sense when, and then you further in your story talked about the rebuild and the new team. Did you do the same process? Did you, not necessarily with Chalene, but did you go to accounts of people that you connected with and sort of work to connect with their followers, or did you find your new team in a different fashion?
That's a great question. So when I went to Chalene's account and followed her followers, that was as a challenger. Not even a challenger, I was a customer, totally unhinged and untethered. And it was just for me. I don't recruit that way. I don't build my business that way. Social media has been a real challenge for me. I grew my following and my cold market from 2010 to 2016, and things have changed a lot. So what I will share now is that Rob and I have this this kind of like break glass in case of emergency technique, where we're like, nothing's working, nobody's doing anything, I'm following up with everybody, no one wants to do this, and our break glass in case of emergency is, let's just get ripped. Let's just get ripped. Let's screw it all. Let's stop. I'm not saying stop track. I mean, if it works for you, it works for you. But when I'm at my wit's end, I'm like, what worked in the beginning was just me going all out, not using the products. And Mary, like you are bodacious. Like you are proof the products work. So sometimes if you're already at that fitness level and you don't need that next level, that's what people need to see, is that next level. And that I think for me, it needs to be a mental struggle. Like I have been dealing with depression and anxiety and panic attacks and being really vulnerable, not like I say I'm being vulnerable. And from that, that's when people are like, yeah, I'm in that too. So I've been leveraging stories. I've been leveraging my existing following. I have been using a lot of polls. I have been, public call to actions do not work for me. The people who come to me are usually like, I've been watching you for 7 years. I'm finally ready. Or there's somebody that I'm having conversations with behind the scenes with zero attachment that they're ever going to say yes, which is actually a great thing, because then I don't talk to people that I don't want to talk to. And I don't talk to people who I wouldn't want on my team or I wouldn't want at a retreat. And we really do cultivate those interests. But social media has been a struggle for me. And another thing is I recruit the best from my challenge groups, because there's nothing that I hate more than enrolling a coach and having to explain to them what a challenge group is and explain to them what Energize is. Even if they come to me and say, I want to be a coach, I say, all right, 30 days, you're going to see what this looks like. And if it's not for you, I don't want us to waste each other's time. And And then when things get like real bad, and I'm looking for that new team and I'm looking for those new numbers, I go back in my posts and I go back in my likes, because the people who were liking me 5 years ago or commenting way back then, I don't know, I think they really enjoy when you reach back out. And there's that loyalty of like, I've been following you for this many years, or I've seen you grow so much, and just kind of catching up like that is really helpful. And then that's when I say like, hey, we've been in each other's social media lives for this long. I really would love for you to do this with me. Would you give it a shot? And I send invites out that way. And then I really make sure that they get results, so that if they do become a coach on my team, I'm not dragging them. They kind of already get it.
Love that. Love that. So this is probably a really common question, but it's so frequent that, you know, we see our challengers that are total rock stars, and you're like, oh my God, man, you know, not only are you getting amazing results and your life is changing, but you just can sense that they have everything that it takes to be a really, really great coach, like leading from the heart. And you reach out to them, and the response is the very common, very standard. I'm not into sales. I don't know if I could sell stuff. I'm not, you know, this or that or whatever. Or you have a new challenger, and you can sense already in like week 1 or week 2 that they just are so into it. They totally get it. And they're like, yeah, but I need to wait until I have experienced my own results. What are some of your objection handling to some of that stuff?
Yeah. So I think one of the first ones that are really great is like, cool, let's split the referral. I'll coach them. Send them to me. Let's split the referral. I'll give you half the referral, or half the commission fee. And then all of a sudden they're like, wow, this is a lot of people want to do this. I've also tried this a few different times, like letting my coaches add their people to my group so that I'm doing the heavy lifting. Sometimes that works really well, because I always use this example. It really sucks when like someone's at a great party and you're like, this party's amazing, you should invite your friends. But you have to go to the other, like this empty house over here, and start up the party on your own. Oh, we'll be over here. So like I have kind of set this like, okay, your first 10 challengers, you can add to my group. It's kind of been a little messy. I'm still working through it. What I've also realized is that with those people, you can practice pouring belief in them without any expectation that they'll sign up. Because I have pushed away rock star challengers because I saw them in their potential. And they got so like, no, I just need this for me, that I ended up losing somebody who was energy and fire in my group because it wasn't the right time for them. So I kind of subtly just keep pouring belief. If you don't believe in you, I'm going to believe in you. And then subtly, you know, in that group, if another, like one of the most underutilized things that I don't do, and I think that so many people should do, is when new coaches sign up from your challenge group, shout them out and their story, and keep showing them people less motivating than them, who have less time than them, are choosing it without adding that element of guilt. And then I think ultimately it really is about, it's about that, like, that rock bottom moment for that person. You know, for me, I know I was going to be an amazing coach in my head. I didn't have the time, and I didn't have the emotional strength or stability. And I was going through a breakup, and I was living at my parents' house, and my coach, I mean, if she did anything for me, she poured belief in me. She was like, you should be doing this. You need to be doing this. You are amazing. And I was just like, thanks. I love you. Thanks. And it wasn't until that moment where HR said to me, yeah, you're worth $60,000 a year, but I can't pay you more than $15. And it was that like, all right, let's do this thing. And so I think that it's almost like treating them as an asset in your challenge group. Like you are a hype man, and you're doing this for free, and you're like, I don't want to waste that energy trying to convince them. I'm going to practice my coaching. I'm going to practice my belief building. And then I'm going to show them what they're missing until they have that moment where everything changes. Yeah.
Love that. Okay, who else? Guys, don't be shy. This is Chelsea Pearson, superstar, 4-time elite.
I have a question.
Hey, Rachel.
Hey, okay, so I feel a bit stuck and some of it is limiting beliefs about my ability to be a leader. So I'm working through that, but I struggle to have a lot of new coaches with great energy. They love everything about Beachbody, but I don't know how to get them, what are ways that you guide your leaders to that path of Diamond? Like, part of Diamond is such a mindset, and I just did it. I don't have an upline, and so I don't relate to that very much. So what are ways that you help grow Diamonds or cast vision to get your team to that next 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, advancement?
Your own personal team, like to build your own. Okay. So my average Diamond growth period is 2 years. It's not 30 days. It's not 6 months. It's not 9 months. It's not. But what I will tell you is that when they are Diamond, either they completely disappear or they go on to be an elite coach. And so I struggle with that sometimes because I don't have 6 new Diamonds every year. I have 2 new Diamonds every year, or I have, 4 new Diamonds every year. But then they become Serena, and they become, a future elite coach and somebody that builds volume and builds momentum and credibility. And so for me, when getting somebody started, and this kind of starts with onboarding, the very first call, and I like to have one-on-one calls, just one, with my new coaches, 30 minutes. I set the expectation it's going to be 15, and then it goes to 30, and it's perfect. And I ask them, 3 questions. And I believe this is actually from Melanie Mitro. I ask them, what are you excited about? Before I cloud their brain with goals and like the plan I have for them and the timeline, what are you excited about? And right there, I can hear in them if they're ready to start running a challenge group or building a team, or they need that income, or they just want to be surrounded with positivity. And I let those level of desire stay where they are. Because that was one of my biggest sources of frustration for the last 8 years, was like, it's my job as a coach to get their desire there, or it's my job to get every coach to Emerald, to Diamond, to 1-star. And then all of a sudden I was like looking at my back office like, I suck at this, when in reality, they were actually reaching their level of their level of desire. And there's nothing that I can do to change that. But our level of desire is like up here. And so the first question that I would ask is what are you excited about? And I'd very quickly know, okay, what's their pace? What's their interest? The second thing that I would ask them is, what does success look like to you in the next 3 months? And for some people, they're like, I want to do what you do. I want to create a community. I want to pay this forward. I've got bills to pay. I want to walk stage at Summit. Very rare that I get that. Or sometimes I get that and then the work just doesn't match, and that's on them. And I'm here and I'm ready whenever they're ready. And then sometimes it's like, I just want to work on me, and I just want to help people lose weight. And so I think my 2-year average is because I'd rather have a coach on HD for 9 months, really getting results. Those are deeper roots of belief. That is a deeper loyalty to a product that even if it's not a quick Diamond, they're not going to leave. And it might take them 4 years, but they're going to stay. I said earlier, like I signed up in 2011, August. I bought my first challenge pack because challenge packs were invented in January of 2012. That's when I started Shakeology. I was an inactive coach before that. Then I was Diamond by January. And then it took me a year to be 2-star. in a year to be 4-star, in a year to be 6-star. So it was slow growth, but it was solid growth. And there are so many different amazing leaders in this network. But you got to do the thing that's going to honor your version of success and excite you. And most importantly, I want you to build longevity. Building 2-star for yourself is something that you can do. You just have to do it with integrity, and you've got to do it with people in your family, or with your spouse, or with a friend, and you can get to that place and that momentum very often. It kind of gets those on the fence to be like, wow, she's leaving the station without me. And you always have that posture like, I'm ready for you. You're my next one. I'm here. And if you need to work on having that attitude and knowing how to have that posture, I really recommend the book, The Energy Bus by John Gordon, because it teaches you how to stay up without, and always open up that door of the bus and say, I'm ready when you are. But if they're not willing to pay the ticket price, you close the door and you just say, all right, I'll be here tomorrow when you're ready. Let's see, I have a few other things to say. So the focus first and foremost is Emerald. And we set the expectation that Emerald is a choice, and Emerald is something you can do in a day. And we help them do that. Usually with a friend, usually with a spouse, a parent, just so that they know that it's not as scary as it is to enroll somebody. And then the focus then becomes, all right, let's keep getting you results. Let's keep doing the vitals. Let's keep building this foundation of Consistent Success Club, because ultimately their first 50 coaches could be discount coaches. And I think that's awesome. My first 50 coaches were discount coaches. I didn't really know what the business was when I first got started. So they can build Diamond and still be a business builder, even if they don't have business builders. And so I like to get their volume up. And when somebody has 4 coaches, so they built their own Emerald, and then maybe they've enrolled 2 discount coaches, that's when we really start to say, like, hey, do you want to work one-on-one on this? Is this something that you want for yourself? Figuring out if income is something that motivates them, or competition, or motivation, or it's another reason why we have an Emerald group and a Diamond group. We really dangle that next level and make sure that there's value in there. Like, if you want to learn more, all the Diamond coaches are in here. When we have a live video every week, or we have a guest every week, and like, I want you to be in that space, but you got to earn it. And then what we do is we map it out together, and we rely very heavily on looking at their customer PV. And I have had so many coaches have like three discount coaches under them. And then I go into my back office and I look at their PV, and I see that they have like 1,200 volume, which means that some are residual orders and some are single orders, but they have customers underneath them who could benefit from the coach discount. So then that's when we start to work on like, okay, let's just get comfortable with this, which is offering the discount, and then brushing it off when they don't want it, because many people don't want it for many different reasons. But I really encourage my team to build that Diamond with discount coaches, and then teach their coaches to build Emeralds with discount coaches, because from the non-confirmed statistics I've seen in the roundtable, like half of the elite coaches in this network started off as discount coaches and then had an aha moment. They're not always network marketers. And so we really focus on that, and it does take time, and it does take belief. And one thing that I also want to add is, like, I know that we see those coaches and we say, why don't they get it? Like, why don't they get it? I gave them a book. I gave them a podcast. I gave them a script. I gave them a call. I gave them my time. I gave them my belief. I gave them my blueprint. I gave them months and months and months. And I had this moment at a Super Saturday that I was hosting, and I was not listening. I was sitting on the side of the wall talking to a coach named Stephanie Burgos. And someone was speaking, and we were just chatting really rudely. But it was this moment that really changed things for me. And I was talking about this, like, why aren't my diamonds popping? Why isn't this happening? And she said, or like, why are they stuck? And she's like, Chel, what are you stuck on right now? And I think it was something so dumb, like being afraid of success, or not feeling like my message mattered anymore, or feeling irrelevant, or feeling like something so simple where it's like, I have a book, I have a quote, I have this, I have that, you should do this, I have a checklist. And she's like, yeah, that might take you like 9 months to figure out. And no matter what other people give you, like, you have to figure that out. And you have to give yourself grace for that. And nobody can do it for you. And the people in your life who love you, who want to see you succeed, it's not their fault that you're stuck there. You have to get through that. And you have to figure that out. And it all kind of clicked to me, like, it's not my job to do that work for them, not because I wouldn't do it for them, but because that's what the gift of this is all of those invisible moments, all of those barriers that we hit. And as long as we are in the trenches with our coaches saying, hey, I'm working through my stuff too, I'm reaching for the next level. And even though my level is a lot higher than yours, we're both struggling. And we both need to, show up for each other when it's hard, when it's good, and we're running this race together. And I think when we let the pressure off like that, and we show them what it looks like, that's when, even if they don't hit diamond, it's fun and it's meaningful and it's special. And then when they do, you don't have to drag them because they know how strong they are. They know the fight they have in them, and they did it themselves.
It's so amazing.
That's amazing. Thank you.
We do have a question though. You said there were 3 questions. What are you excited about? What does success look like for you in the next 3 months? But you didn't mention the 3rd question.
Sorry about that.
We're dying.
So the 3rd question is, what program are you doing? And we, like, a before and after is everything. Like, it is not use your products. That's the vital behavior. It is be proof that your products work. And this is not a message against anybody at any size or any place in their journey not being good enough. As long as you're growing and as long as you're showing that you're growing, you don't have to sell anything. And so we just make sure that they're committed and they're not dabbling. And the ones that commit are the ones that hit Success Club 10 the next month, because even if they don't have a social media following, their coworkers, their friends, their family, they're like, oh, okay, well, this works. So yeah, it kind of feels like a pyramid scheme. I kind of saw this annoying person do coaching and it didn't work. I had this other friend who did an MLM and their garage is full of products. And it's like, yeah, but insanity works, dude. Try it. And then you get to inform them of all their misconceptions about this business.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, I love that. So one of my favorite things that you said was, my heart is still hard, whether it's your heart or not, right? It's like a mile is a mile, whether it's 4 minutes or 20 minutes. We still went the same distance, but your journey looked way different than mine. So even though you are up here with your team and the amount of people that you have, it's still not easy for you, whether an Emerald coach is like, oh, she just doesn't have to work as hard anymore because she's got, like, it's still hard and you still have to work and you still have to evolve. So is there anything that you want to leave us with? So thankful that you were able to come on and drop these knowledge bombs, guys. I took like 2 pages of notes, so I hope you did too. But anything to leave us with that you want to say for us? Any advice or parting words?
Yeah, I'd love to. I have been in a season, like personally in a season where I have felt like around me, I have had more blessings than I ever thought imaginable. Financially, because of this business, my husband, my team, my support system, my health, like on the outside, it's together. And I have been struggling like really bad with physical manifestations of anxiety, panic attacks, depression, and like, it's just taught me that no matter what level we get to, no matter how good it gets, no matter how hard it feels, like there will always be another thing. And that's the point, I think, of being a part of a community like this, is that we celebrate comebacks, we celebrate transformation. It may take time to share that story. You may never have to ever share the details of that thing that is breaking you right now or stopping you, but it is the thing that is going to unleash hope and change in someone else. And that's what we do. And it's temporary if you're in that right now. I know that's not sales. I know that's not leadership. I know that's not network marketing, but like whatever you're stuck in, it is going to truly become the thing that attracts people to you. And it is not forever, and you will come out stronger. And that's why I will do this for the rest of my life. And I want to do this with you for the rest of my life, because if we didn't have this community, even if we're not on the same team, although we are on the same team, we'd be fighting this alone, and you're not alone. And we have the opportunity as coaches to invite people into this place so that they're not alone, and we can all tackle our hard together. And I'm just grateful. I'm so grateful, because I don't know where I would be right now if it wasn't for this purpose and this job. And that has nothing to do with rank or events or workouts. It has to do with you guys. So I hope this unlocked something in you, and then you go out and you do something with it for somebody else today.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Chelsea. Thank you so much for being here. Guys, I hope you have the best day ever. Every day is a good day. Love you all. We'll see you at Summit.